And then Jason Spar, I'd probably make the statement before we do the pledge or anything else.
Will do.
Yeah, I have a quorum now.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
I didn't have to work. I'm great.
Before we begin, if we've got a quorum of 5 already, that would make me an alternate. So do I still give the pledge, lead the pledge?
Oh, that's true. Depends on how many, let's see, 2, 4, we got 6. So if Forrest shows up, and then who else are we missing? Claude. Yeah, you can still say it. If you're the 8th, then you just wouldn't be able to participate in the voting, but no one says you can't have someone from the audience do the pledge,
Okay.
so to speak. And it is 6 o'clock, 6:01.
Okay, we're going to get started then. All right, we'll see if any other commissioners join us. I need to, this is the September 8th, 2020 Planning Commission, Royse City Planning Commission meeting. I need to read a statement before we get started here. I, Jason Spar, Chair of the Royse City Planning Commission, and in accordance with the Utah Code Section 52-3-207, I have determined that conducting a meeting in the Royse City Council chambers presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those who would be present. The basis for this determination is due to the infectious nature and potentially dangerous health effect of contracting the COVID-19 virus. There is no sufficient space in the council chambers to provide appropriate safe physical distancing for the safety of the individuals who would be in attendance. Accordingly, the September 8th, 2020 meeting will be held electronically without an anchor location. Okay, we will move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Commissioner Felt is going to lead us in that. The rest of us are going to go on mute so that we don't interfere.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Felt. Okay, we will move to the agenda items. Agenda item number 1, which would be the declaration of conflicts. Do any commissioners have any conflicts that they need to declare at this time?
No.
No.
Okay, there being none, we will move to agenda item 2, which will be the approval of the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Do we have any suggested changes? If not, we will need a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. Agenda item number 3 would be the approval of August 25th, 2020 work session minutes. Same case here. Do we have any changes? Otherwise, we'll need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 25th minutes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion will passes, excuse me. So now we will be moving to agenda item number 4, which would be a public hearing. Steve, I believe we do the proponent.
We do have, let me bring him on. Clayton, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. There we go. Now you're on mute again, Clayton.
How's that?
There you go.
Sounds good.
Now, Chair, do you want him to present?
Yes, please. That would be great if you can.
Clayton, do you want me to share my screen that has your presentation?
That works. Yeah. Yeah. Same presentation as last month. I don't know if you explained the situation, Steve, but
I did.
we can do a quick brief.
There we go. So go ahead and talk there, Clayton.
All right. Do I have control of this or do you?
I've got control. I'll just,
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Purchased the Franson farm there, 2 acres land. It's already zoned R18. Just a huge field and one house. We're looking at knocking down the house and building a nice little cul-de-sac with 7 lots that all fit in that already zoned R8. So we're not asking for anything different, just what's already in the code, and we're meeting everything that's there. It's already been sent around to, I think, all the different departments, and they've given their feedback on things. We've already ordered a soils test that actually should be done this week, and then most of the engineering for the improvements are almost complete as well, per the feedback that we got a few weeks ago from all the city department heads and what they required and what they needed. And so it's just kind of improving this property to be a nice single family homes in the area. Lots 0.19 to 0.25, so they're pretty good sized lots. And so it should make a really nice community and cul-de-sac there with a really nice shaped piece of property to make a real nice new little development there in that patch. Any questions?
The soil test that you're going to have, I've lost video. I don't know if you can see me. We talked about the soil test you're going to have as far as it regards liquefaction. Is that the test that you're going to have? Or is it another
Correct.
test?
Yeah, it's a full soils test. So they're going to figure out, I mean, I told them if the soils come back, we'd love to have basements, but that's obviously per the soils test. And they did some, they pulled some, the soils, I think a week ago. So now they're doing all their analysis. And so it's a full soils test. And I should have that back in a week. In fact, I think I told them September 14th was the meeting and they were trying to get it back by that point.
Okay.
So we have those results.
Thank you so much for following through on that.
Yeah.
and then just so the commissioners know, soils test is required for building code, not necessarily planning and zoning. So even though it is part of the general plan that talks about liquefaction, and this is, all of Roy is within that kind of zone, it's the building code and engineering that request those, that report. So.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Steve, do you have any comments to go along with it? Other
I'll
than-
just kind of give you my presentation again. Again, this is just a request for preliminary subdivision approval for Franzen Farms, approximately 4514 South, 3100 West. Again, just an aerial of the area. 3100 West is right on the left-hand side of the screen, an existing neighborhood to the north and to the east. The power line, the east-west power line corridor is just to the south of it. This is not a rezone request, but I figured I'd put up the future land use map and the current zoning map just to show you that it is an R18 zone for medium density single family, so it meets both areas. The subdivision is designed as just a little cul-de-sac coming off of 3100 West heading east. It'll just serve 7 lots. The existing home, which you can kind of see right here, will be removed along with its driveway and all the outbuildings to make way for 7 new homes. So staff would recommend that the Planning Commission forward a recommendation of approval of Franzen Farm subdivision. Any questions for me?
No.
Okay, well, there being no questions for Steve, we will need to open this issue for public comment. We have a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we go into public hearing.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We are now in public hearing. Steve, do we have anybody in attendance tonight?
No one has sent a request to speak on this item at this time. The letters were sent out correctly this time with the correct day and date. So again, I haven't received any requests.
Okay, that being the case, we will look for a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing is now over. We will now move to agenda item number 5.
No, you gotta make a motion to approve.
It's kind of what I thought. I was missing something here. It's been a minute or two. My apologies. Okay, so we will be looking for a motion on this subject here.
Okay, I'll motion that we approve, that we forward to the council for approval of oh, sorry, what was the name of this one?
Ransom Farms.
Friends?
Yeah, the Franzen Farm subdivision with the conditions stated on the report.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second it. Go ahead.
Is it?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. This will, Steve, will it be on next?
This item will be on the next week's city council agenda on the 15th.
Okay. Get back to my notes here. All right, so now we'll move to agenda item number 5, which would be also a public hearing to consider request for preliminary subdivision approval of Aspen Woods Estate subdivision located approximately 4712 South, 4300 West. Steve, do we have the proponent in attendance?
He is.
Okay,
This is Mr. Scott Wynn.
Evening.
good evening.
Let's see. Oh, apparently I didn't make him a panelist so you could see him. There we go.
All right, sir, when you're ready to present, just state your name and address and let us know what you want us
Scott
to.
Wynn with Windriff Construction. Our address is 5300 Adams Avenue Parkway in Washington Terrace. We're here for preliminary subdivision approval for Aspenwood Estates. I've made a little presentation here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, looks like my screen sharing is disabled there, Steve.
Hold on. Okay, try it again. Did it work?
Yes. All right. There we go. So Aspenwood Estates is located off of 4300 West. The current address of the home is 4212 South, 4300 West. Oh, I'm sorry, 4712 South, 4300 West. Proposes for 17 lots. This is preliminary subdivision plat here. So basically the main reasoning for this T-shaped design, we had to pull sewer from 4700 West Street over here, the adjacent subdivision, come down the PUE that's between lots 18 and 19 there on the corner, and then bring a straight line down there to meet our subdivision. When we put it into an L shape with a, half a cul-de-sac there, we would have kind of had to zigzag that sewer around. And then also it yielded us about, I think it was 3 more lots out of there. So I read over the staff report, there was some concern about stubbing the road to the south there. I would be willing to take a little bit off of the south sides of lot 11 and 12 and maybe push that road back towards the north 10 feet and kind of connect those two, just kind of closing that road off if that's something that kind of is a concern there. And then kind of just to show you here, I've got, I build patio homes. They're single level homes. I offer 2 main floor plans. This is my 3-car garage plan. I just kind of wanted to show on a typical lot that I'm meeting the setback requirements. For that one, I've got the 25 in the front. This particular lot I showed has a 32-foot 9-inch setback in the rear, 8 foot on the one side, 19 on the other. The reason I do it that way is the patios are on the side of the home. So that pushing it all the way to one side to the 8 foot gives them a good 19-foot side yard, and then they can opt for a patio in the rear if they would like. So that's my 3-car. This is my typical 2-car here. The lots on the east side are a little bit smaller, and those are kind of slated for one of these 2-car garage ones, and we meet all the setbacks there. And then on all the corner lots, we just made them just a little bigger, 76 feet wide, so we can meet that 20-foot corner side setback there. That's all I have for the presentation. Any questions?
When do you expect these to be completed, this construction?
Well, that kind of depends on the meetings here, but I'm hoping if everything, goes through smoothly, I'm hoping March or April to have development completed and have start construction on the homes. So
Great. Do you have any idea what you're going to be charging? Are these owned or rented? These are places.
Oh, they're owned. They're
owned.
yeah. We build basically custom homes. That's the reason why I only offer the 2 floor plans. We allow the customers to modify the plans if needed. They get to choose all the materials. They're high-end homes. We kind of fill a niche for retirees, empty nesters and seniors that typically are downsizing from a larger, more expensive home into something, you know, that's more manageable for them, but they want to, you know, keep an upgraded home just on a smaller scale. So that's kind of the niche we fill. So, you know, we sell them all. You know, rarely do we ever get one that's rented or anything like that. And we typically pre-sell them at that and custom build them to suit the customer. So, you know, they're all brick construction. They're, you know, stucco on the gables, you know, very high-end interior, typically, you know, depending on the, you know, the customer's budget. If I had to guess right at this particular point on what I'm going to be charging for them, I would guess somewhere, you know, for my most popular larger ones, somewhere between 380 and 410. You know, that's just without, I really haven't gotten too many bids for anything yet, you know, barring preliminary approval. So.
Well, I like the fact that you're not going with the standard builder's design, that they get those options. Not that I'm moving from my house, but
Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Thank you. I
you.
appreciate that.
Okay, so just to clarify then, this road going up and down on this map, it's not going to continue through, right? It's just a hammerhead for.
Well, the one to the north could possibly,
Could possibly,
I believe,
yeah.
You know, the property to the north is identical size and shape to the property that I'm
Okay.
proposing. So if, you know, that guy is, he's not really, not at all, as far as I've been told, interested in selling. To the south there, personally, I mean, you know, anything's possible. I don't see it continuing
Okay.
through. It was mainly the reasoning for that was, you know, like I said, to get that sewer down there without zigzagging it all over the place. And then, like I say, it did end up yielding us, I think it was 3 more lots. So, you know, and you know, the patios for those homes will be on the south side. So we'd have plenty of room to kind of, you know, bring that road back a little bit and connect those 2 lots. If, you know, if that was something that would please the planning commission, I'd have no problem with that. I was even thinking, you know, landscaping will be included on these. I could turn that into like a low maintenance area with a, you know, a couple trees or something, and it probably wouldn't be a bad place to push a little bit of snow as well. So.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have any other commissioners have questions for the proponent? Okay, sounds like we don't. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And we'll turn the time over to Steve.
Thank you. Again, as mentioned, this is again another request for preliminary subdivision approval for Aspenwood Estates. Looks like I misspelled it on my presentation here.
Actually, my engineer put an S on the end, and that wasn't.
Well, I don't have an S after the first E.
Oh.
But again, it's located at 4712 South, 4300 West. Kind of here's the area. I think it's Rocky Mountain Junior High is to the west. Again, there's a subdivision of similar size to the east. The property to the north, as was mentioned, is the same size as the parcel being looked at now. Ideally, it'd have been nice to have the sewer come from off of here and then come down. But this gentleman is not willing to allow for an easement at this point and allow for the sewer. So that's why the creativeness of coming through the public utility easement, which most subdivisions are required to have for cases like this. Future land use map and zoning map, again, just kind of to reference, this is not for approval. And I apologize. I pulled the zoning map from when they rezoned this. It should be light green, like to the east, making it R17 rather than this green, having it R110. So it is R17 that was rezoned just a couple months ago. Subdivision wise, if you've seen 17 lots, the existing home that's there is slated to remain. Is that correct, Scott?
Yes, it will remain.
Okay. So the at-home will remain, and then there'll be 16 new single-family homes detached to be included. In the staff report, you do have my comments. I did have a concern with the road heading south, but I'm hoping that engineering and public works will make more comments. If it may be that public works likes it this way, and I'm indifferent on it. It's just, I don't think the properties to the south will develop. Again, you never know. But I'll wait to see what engineering and public works have to say. They may want it like this, and then my comment would kind of go away. So I'm hoping they get their comments in soon, but I will forward those on to Scott when they do. Again, staff would recommend that you guys forward a recommendation to the city council for approval of this preliminary subdivision. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll turn it back over to you, Jason.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So any comments from any commissioners at this time before we open the public hearing?
I have a question about the easement. And this is me for my own edification. Probably everybody else knows it. Probably everybody in the room, I don't know. So I always thought that an easement was a piece of property that was owned both by the property owner and the municipality. So if they ran into issues like this, is there not an option for whomever the powers that be to exercise eminent domain and not go the other route?
For the property to the north? Is that what you're talking about, or the property that they're planning on bringing the sewer line through?
I took away the second one, yes.
We don't need to do, well, first, power of eminent domain is only, at least way the state has changed it in the past 10 years, can only be done for transportation or the need for roads.
Okay.
In this case, would be more arterial roads for a regional concept. So the city doesn't really have the power to use eminent domain just for a easement.
Okay.
But most subdivisions, we require about every other interior property line to have a public utility easement placed on the plat when it's recorded. So
Okay.
that, go back and share my screen. So the subdivision to the east, there's a public utility easement along this line.
Okay.
Both, I think it's 8 or 10 feet on each side. So there's enough room to bring the sewer line down to this point. And then now that this is a new subdivision, they can create how wide that is that they need and bring it into the road. As I mentioned, ideally, it'd be great to have it come off of 4650, come through that gentleman's property, then down, then we don't have to do this. But public utility easements are there for any public utility, where it be cable, phone, power, anybody to, if they need to use those. Generally, they try to stay in the road so they don't dig people's properties up, but
Yeah.
it's not uncommon to have a sewer line or a water line or a drainage line going through the sides of people's properties.
Okay. Thanks
So-
for clarifying that, Steve.
It's not that the city owns it, we just have right to use it.
Thank you for the
we-
clarification, Steve.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
No.
Okay, there being none, we will look for a motion to go into public hearing.
A motion that we go into public hearing.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are now in public hearing. Steve?
I have received no request to comment.
Okay. That being said, we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So
Make
moved.
a motion. to close the public.
Ooh, I think Callie beat you, Samantha.
Got to be quicker than that, Samantha.
I only do the easy ones.
Okay, we
Right,
have a
then we'll do
motion.
some stuff.
Second.
Need a second.
Felt. Okay,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Okay, we are now out of public hearing. We will now be looking for a motion to recommend to the city council approval of, I was trying to make it easier for people here. Recommend to the city council approval of the preliminary subdivision of Aspenwood Estates subdivision located at approximately 4712 South, 4300 West, with the conditions stated within this report. Does anybody want to motion on this?
Why don't you do it?
I move that we recommend for approval the preliminary subdivision of Aspenwood Estates subdivision located at approximately 4712 South, 4300 West, with conditions as stated in the report.
Okay, we have a motion. We will need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
this
Thank you.
item will also be heard next week at the city, within the city council meeting.
All right, well, thank you for everybody attending. We will move to agenda item number 5, which would be the commissioner's minute. Any commissioners have any questions for Steve about anything at this point?
I do. What are they going to do with the old Roy High property?
The
I
old
drove by
Roy
there and it
High
looks so
property,
sad. Yeah, does there anyone have plans for it?
Roy High's moving?
Roy Junior High, sorry.
Oh, where
Freudian
the
slip.
old building used to be?
Yes.
Now that becomes the fields that were behind the old junior high.
Oh, okay,
So,
good. I drove by there and it looked so sad by itself, so I wanted to ask.
yeah, that just becomes field baseball and places for them to play and
That's
do their
great.
activities. You had me confused that you heard something that Roy High was moving.
I'm almost the last person to know. That was, I can't believe I threw that out there. In my mind, I had it vision too.
I have a question. I haven't, for Steve maybe, because I haven't heard anything on it for some time. There was some rumors about Dr. John's moving.
They're gone.
They're gone, huh?
Yep.
So do we have a new tenant that might be moving in?
No, the reason why that tenant had left is the building became in such that it was in disrepair that if it rained inside as well. The landlord wouldn't make any repairs, so they gave their notice and left.
Is the landlord an absentee landlord?
Well, unbeknownst to us, Dr. John's was subleasing it from somebody else. So we got in contact with the owner who was unaware of many of the problems that were there.
Do they have any plans for that building then, Steve? Do you know at this time?
Nope.
It's not going to be Roy High, I can tell you that much.
It's not big enough for Roy High.
Yeah, that's crazy how many kids we're having here. All right.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? It sounds like there isn't any, so we'll move to agenda item number 6, which would be the staff update. Steve, time is yours.
I don't know if you guys have received your magazine, this month's magazine. But on page 7, it has the general plan. Boy, it's really dark. The general plan request update.
Look at
We
that.
have had a few people already come go to the site and look at it and watch the video and make a few comments. So I'm hoping that people continue to do that. I'm going to put out a thing on the Royce City Facebook page. Again, just requesting, hoping that people would go to that site and take a look at it and give us some comments. So that's on its way.
Okay.
Other than that, I think Roy Junior High is occupied right now. Roy High
I'm
has
never going to live this down.
won't move. They are finalizing, I believe, one or two of the buildings there on Midland Drive and 4000. I know they're up and going gangbusters on those. Trying to think what else. That's about it.
You know, I want to ask about the buffet, don't you, Steve?
Oh, you can ask. I'm not sure what's taking so long.
I don't know either. They've got the
It is.
signage up on the building and on the street. It's
Yeah.
like somewhere different to eat where I don't take my tax dollars elsewhere.
I don't know, because it's now down to the building department and all the inspections, so it's really, I don't keep track of that stuff.
Okay.
But I'll find out because you keep asking, so.
Thank you, Steve.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, being that Steve is done with his update, we will move to our last agenda item, which is a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for
Thanks,
attending.
everyone. Be
Thank
Thank
safe
you.
out
Bye.
there.
Aye.